driving. Hope comes and stops us in our tracks. Bravely we prove in our striving, trudging together each day. Where there's a will, there's a way.
Good morning. Extra work to do. I'm not going to put this straight into the group. It's confusing people. They're going there, they're commenting their comments. I can't see their comments unless I'm over on the blah, blah, blah. You know, we call that a clusterfuck. I ain't going to do it. It's just confusing people. And this is supposed to be nice and simple. It's supposed to be pretty straightforward. Shouldn't have to click very many times to find my stuff. Things like that. I try and keep things simple. Car show is postponed this weekend. So gives me a little more time to get stuff together because I had nothing. So take a laptop and there's some things I think on DACA or World Services stuff that you can use. Yeah. Been speaking. I'm doing a tour of a sober living next week. Yeah. You're gonna go take a tour. I found some. They're called Sobriety House, and we call them Soho. I guess. Well, that's short, but whatever. Sobriety House, right? And there were the more legit ones. In other words, they have the right people on staff. The owner is not making tons of money, had a bunch of money. They have a success rate. They are reintegrating. So I am talking with them so that we can start doing some fundraising. And what I want to do is open my next thing, aside from what I'm doing at the church and stuff, is opening a halfway house for homeless alcoholics. That's what I'm doing next. It will not leave my mind. It will not. It has become incessant. It will not leave me alone. So, yeah, it's what I'm going to do. It's what I'm going to start. I won't do it. There'll be plenty of us that'll be working on it. It is not a one-person job. Welcome to the Daily Trudge. My name is Dion. I'll be one of the only Dions you ever know. I like my name. I used to hate my name. Used to hate it because I was a bedwetter and they call me Peon Dion. Right? Some people still do that. I'll get into name calling. It'd be unwise to call me names. Because I'm the kind of person that doesn't mind making amends. Think on that one. Think on that one. All right. So we're talking about entering a new dimension. I know I live in a new dimension. I do not live where, yep, there it is. Hi, Ingrid. I didn't even share it to the group. So you won't be able to join from the group. It was confusing people. So fuck it. It is what it is. It hasn't seemed to affected me anyway. Because I'm going to tell you something. 95% of the people in my group are probably drinking. Just so you know. I'm a forever person. I don't care if you're drinking again. I'm going to try and ruin it for you. That's what I do. That's what I do. So entering a new dimension, we're going to be doing some As Bill Sees It. And then, well, it's telling me that you are joining from the Daily Trudge, from the page, Daily Trudge. And Amber obviously is on YouTube, which I really do appreciate you using, by the way. Because I pay money for it. I pay fucking money for that channel. So that I can have a channel, and you have to have, but then I get commercial free YouTube. So one for the other. The problem is YouTube always plays the same shit over and over and over and over again. So I'm always having to pick songs. That's what I don't like. Okay. So we're going to start in As Bill Sees It on page 283. And Powerless Over Alcohol. We're also going to be reading an AA Comes of Age on page 52, it looks like. So, in the late stages of our drinking, the will to resist has fled. Yeah. I like how he puts it in our terms. Nowadays, we call that the fuckets. Okay. We use a lot of slang. A lot of slang. That's why I say that the big book is written in proper English. That's why it doesn't seem right, because we don't speak proper English anymore. Which is sad, because it can be a good language when it doesn't suck. Yet when we admit complete defeat and when we become entirely ready to try AA principles, our obsession leaves us and we enter a new dimension. Freedom under God as we understand Him. Pink cloud much? Pink cloud. Pink cloud usually happens kind of quick too. Do you know what you need to get a pink cloud? Not much. Admit that you're an alcoholic and that your life has become unmanageable, and get a good night's sleep. Those are the two requirements, and you will most likely have your first pink cloud. Okay. Yeah, I know my William Wallace. The last time I dressed up for Halloween, I was William Wallace. I had the hair, I had the makeup. I even had homemade chainmail, a real sword, a legitimate kilt. I know how to put on a kilt the proper way. Yeah. I lost a costume contest to a guy that dressed up as a woman. From that point on, I was disgusted with Halloween, and I haven't dressed up since. Fuck them all. All right. Yes, we get freedom. Freedom! Where are you going? I'm going to pick a fight. That was me. I'm going to pick a fight. Sometimes that's still my answer. I'm picking a fight today. You don't wait 4 days to answer me. No. Okay, anyway. Not in what we're talking about. So the powerlessness that we have, okay, so this is the first paradox of the program, that the way to total independence is total dependence. Weird, right? I thought so too. I'm like, what's wrong with you people? And then it worked for me. And I said, oh, I know what's wrong with you people. You're like me. Hey, come to page 52. All right. Well, so he makes a little thing here. I'm not gonna. This is a kind of a long story, and this is more words than. Oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah. Still going, still going, still going. So I'm just gonna do like the first couple paragraphs. So it is traditional in Alcoholics Anonymous that we do not make speeches, even when you're telling your story. We do not do speeches. I did that Friday. I did a little speeching on my behalf. I do a lot of work and I need a call to arms, man. I need a call to arms. That we do not, we just talk about our own experience and want that experience of those around us. My talk will be no exception. About the middle of summer of 1934, I lay in Charles B. Town Hospital in Central Park West. I had been there before. I had met dear old Dr. Silkworth. He had thought at one time that I might recover, but I had gone steadily downhill, and now I lay upstairs in the hospital, knowing for the first time that I was utterly hopeless. Lois was downstairs, and this kind old doctor was trying in his gentle way to tell her the bad news that so many wives and husbands have received. He was trying to tell her what was wrong with me and that I was hopeless, and Lois was exclaiming, "But Bill has a tremendous amount of willpower. You never saw such an obstinate man when he sets his heart on something. He has tried desperately to get well. We have tried everything. Doctors, why can't he stop?" Man. Hi, Michelle. Could you imagine what Lois is feeling? I can barely imagine what Lois is feeling. She loves this man. Lois loved Bill unconditionally. We may we may praise on Bill, okay, even though he doesn't want it. But I think part of that credit goes to Lois. If Lois wouldn't have stuck it out, there again, we wouldn't be here. Do you see all these little nuances that were created by God so that you and I could have a program, so that you and I can wake up on April 25th, 2024, and just be able to go straight into the program instead of having to work all these racking dilemmas that Bill and Lois had to do for us? His calling was different than mine. Your calling is different than mine, but it's the same. Okay. Our calling is that we help other alcoholics. We stay sober, we help other alcoholics, but we all do it differently because we're different people, but we have the same intention. And that's what matters. The gentle little man explained that my drinking, once a habit, had become an obsession, a true insanity that can tempt me to drink against my will. And she said, "Doctor, what can we do?" So he had to tell her that I would have to be locked up or go mad or die. Not very good options. It's true, though. It's so true. When I'm drinking, I'm dangerous. I should not be in public anymore. It's hard to accept that about myself, to think that I am so fucking dangerous. And I don't want it. Before, I used to revel in it. Now, no, no, no. I do not want that. That does not sound pleasant to me at all. Right? When I think about hurting other people, I get a lot of guilt. Yeah, my tummy's like, nope, 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 nope. Sorry, we can't do that for the most part. I'm going to do one more paragraph here. It was upstairs. I knew the story. It was the end of a long road. For the benefit of our friends who may not yet know how alcoholics get that way, let me go back in time when I was a child, the time when I acquired some of the traits that had to do a lot with my insatiable craving for alcohol. We're at 15 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and read this because I don't know anything about Bill's growing up, and I am interested. Are you interested? I'm interested because what I'm wondering is, I bet in here we're going to see that he was an alcoholic before he even started drinking. I bet he will show the qualities of an alcoholic. You do not need alcohol in you to be an alcoholic. You do not need to be depressed to have depression. All right. I was brought up in a Yankee town about 50 houses, East Dorset, Vermont. Oh, I forgot that Vermont was a Montpelier. Montpelier, right? That's the capital of Vermont. I'm very good with my capitals for some reason. I think it's like the only thing I remember from school. Mount Aeolus. Mount something. An early recollection is one of looking up and seeing that vast, mysterious mountain and wondering what it was and whether I would ever climb that high. But I was presently distracted by my aunt who, as a fourth birthday present, made me a plate of fudge. For the next 35 years, I pursued the fudge of life and quite forgot about the mountain. Yeah, that's what I was saying on it. You're absolutely right. At the moment, you know, yeah. Freedom. When I was 10, I went to live with my grandfather and grandmother. They were wonderfully old-fashioned Yankees, a breed nearly extinct today. I was tall and gawky, and I felt pretty bad about it because the smaller kids. I felt pretty bad about it because the smaller kids could push me around in quarrels. I remember being very depressed for a year or more, and then I began to develop the fierce resolve to win. I resolved to be the number one man. I remember that. The way I saw it was, if you people are going to fuck with me like that, I'm going to fuck around back. My grandfather came along one day with a book and he said, "This is all about Australia. And it says that nobody but Australia Bushmen knows how to make and throw a boomerang." Oh, I thought to myself, here's my chance. I'll be the first man in America to make and throw a boomerang. Well, any kid could have a notion like that. It might have lasted 2 or 3 days or 2 or 3 weeks, but mine was a power drive that kept on for 6 months. And I did nothing else during all that time but whittle on those infernal boomerangs. I sawed the headboard out of my bed to get just the right piece of wood. And out in the old workshop at night by the light of a lantern, I whittled away. And finally, sure enough, I made a boomerang that swung around the churchyard in front of the house and almost hit my grandfather in the head when it came back. Do you hear it? Do you hear what he's saying? That once he put his mind to something, it was not going to stop. This is not a good trait, friends. This is not a good trait. It's all he did. It's an obsession. And I get this way. What's my obsession nowadays? AA. Am I addicted to AA? Yes, I am. I love the feeling it gives me. I love the feeling it gives me. Just like alcohol. I'm not scared to admit that. You bet. It's a natural high, and there's good luck making that illegal. So here it is. Emotionally, I have begun the fashioning of another sort of boomerang, one that almost killed me later on. In that early period, I had to be an athlete because I was not an athlete. I had to be a musician because I couldn't carry a tune. I had to be the president of my class in the boarding school. I had to be first in everything because in my perverse heart, I felt myself the least of God creatures. Yeah, I felt like I had to prove myself to somebody. Wasn't sure who, though. It certainly wasn't my father because I didn't have one. So I could not accept this deep sense of inferiority, and so I did become captain of the baseball team. And I did learn to play the fiddle well enough to lead the high school orchestra, even though I was terribly bad, even though even though it was a terribly bad band. I was the leader and I must lead or else. So it went all or nothing. I must be number one. Then the scene changed. In boarding school, I was very successful. I felt secure with grandpa's liberal allowance. Ooh, money too. So he came for money. That'll fuck with a child's head when you're given everything that you want. I needed a little talking juice. I felt secure and with the love and respect of my schoolmates. That's what he wanted. I was somebody substantial and real, and life lacked only one ingredient: romance. Then came the minister's daughter, and in spite of my awkward adolescence, things were complete. I had romance, security, and applause. I was ecstatically happy. I didn't know Lois was a preacher's daughter. Then one morning, the school principal appeared with a sad face and announced that my girl had died suddenly the night before. I guess not. So he had a girlfriend that died. I dropped into deep depression, lasted for 3 solid years. I did not graduate from school. I was unable to finish because I could not accept the loss of any part of what I thought belonged to me. The healthy kid would have felt badly, but he would never have sunk so deep or stayed submerged for so long. Let's end this on a happy note. Then came along Lois, and I was suddenly alive again, a going concern once more. Now, isn't it amazing how somebody can come along and lift you out of the mire of bullshit? Some people can do that. My wife did it. There's some people in this world, and I've met other people like my wife, and they just view this world differently. They view it in a very loving way. They don't hate. My wife doesn't hate. Okay, I've learned a lot from her about love. About love. Yeah, these people are patient, and they should be treated with some respect. Yeah. Sometimes they're going to get mad at us. I don't know how many times husbands hate me. Okay. I'm no threat. I love husbands too, man. I will do anything for husbands too. I'm not here to take your wife. I'm here to give you your wife back. I'm here to give you your husband back. I really am. But sometimes people get mad at me because I'm doing things that they couldn't. And I'm sorry, you know. My wife helped me, but she couldn't get me sober. God had to do that. But she got me to the place where I could do that. Right? And Scott did that for Amber. We all have somebody in our lives that kind of did that for us. Okay? We married during the World War, and when I saw a young officer in New Bedford, there we were, projecting among the society folk in our town. For the first time in my life, I saw a butler. Again, that terrible feeling of inadequacy, that shy inability to speak more than 2 or 3 words in a row. It was overwhelming, but one night someone handed me a Bronx cocktail. Liquor had killed off a lot of my relatives. So Bill came from a very big line of alcoholics, and I've been repeatedly warned against it. Still, I took this first drink and then another and another. Okay. He's now at 3 drinks. Most people, when they first start drinking, 1 is enough. Not us. You had a tolerance when you very first started, didn't you? Alcoholism is progressive. Yeah, alcoholism is progressive. I drank twice as much as my peers did when I first started. They'd have like 1 beer and be all, ooh. I'm like, okay, I'm at 4. Can I have another one? Okay. We were born with a high tolerance to alcohol. It's one of the indicators. Oh, what magic! I had found the elixir of life. Down went the strange barrier that always stood between me and people and the people around me. My new companions drew near to me, and I drew near to them. I was part of life at last. I could talk easily. I could communicate. Here was the missing link. I know exactly how he feels. I remember feeling totally inadequate. I still do. You hear me talk about it, that I am feeling my own inadequacies, right? And it was that inadequacies that led me. It's what feeds my loneliness, I guess is what I'm trying to get to. I'm trying to do shit. So that's why I say I don't think that we were trying to drink like other people. I think we were trying to live like other people. I, just like everybody else, just wanted to be needed and loved. That's what I, you know, a lot of times, because people tend to think that they know what the homeless need without asking. And I'll tell you what they're probably going to tell you: somebody who cares. Oh, well, here's some money. I care. Here's some money. No, I don't need any money. Oh, okay. Can I have your time? Are you willing to give up your precious time? Right. That question is going to lead me to, what is the cost of a human life? It's invaluable. There is no amount of money in the world. There aren't enough riches in the world that could buy a soul, buy your soul. There's only one way that works. You either give up your soul or you take it back, and you're taking it back. This is spiritual war for your soul. Okay, you're a spiritual warrior who has been chosen. Okay, but your weapon is love, which can't be beat. All right. Thank you, everybody, for being here. It's good to have everybody. Amber and Ingrid, Michelle. Do we have? I think that was everybody. All right. Thank you all for being here. I love you. Peace out, and have a